Welcome to part one of chapter 10. In this part, we'll look at some of the project management statistics. Um, Nowadays, many organizations have a new or renewed interest in project management, and the reason is very simple. The world as a whole is spending trillions of dollars on projects of all kinds. Uh, Globally, more than 16 million people regard project management as their profession. It's a it's a very popular profession and it's growing. Of course, nowadays a lot of those projects are related to computer hardware, software networks, meaning to information technology. And one thing to note about project management is that it's been around for thousands of years, and probably it's not going anywhere because today many of the projects they deal with technology like computer hardware, software, and networks. But as you obviously know, there is also, there are also a lot of projects in construction. There are also a lot of projects in science and education. So, IT, as a field, it's also rapidly growing. So it's not going anywhere for the next 10 or 20 years, in my opinion. But even if it, kind of fades out of popularity, project management is not going anywhere. Today, it's information technology. Tomorrow, it will be managing projects in relation to biotech, to science. I mean, who knows what? So project management has been around for arguably for millennia, and it's not going anywhere. In the nearest future. In fact, I would say project management will exist in some form until the human civilization ceases to exist. But of course, today nowadays, a lot of project management is really, a lot of project management as it's taught and as its practice is related to information technology. It's not surprising because global spending on information technology, technology goods, services, and staff, it's also in the trillions and it's constantly growing. In the United States, the size of the IT workforce topped 4 million people in 2008. So we're talking about millions of people involved in the IT industry in one way or another. Project management is also becoming a very highly paid profession. So typically, if we're talking about an IT project manager, we're talking about a salary somewhere in six figures. This data may be outdated, but it's probably a six-figure salary. Um, and therefore, like when a lot of the time students put together a presentation about their project management plan and they allocate $50,000 per year for an IT project manager, that just doesn't seem to be realistic given the current level of salaries. Now, of course, to get to this level of salaries, you need to have some experience. A lot of people who want to enter the field of project management, they realize that organizations they don't hire people to be project managers if they don't have experience being a part of the project first, as a team member, and then you can move to a project manager role, which is more of a senior role. Also, the number of people earning their project management professional or PMP certification continues to increase. There are all kinds of certifications out there in project management, with PMP, project management professional, being the most common one. I will talk about project management certification when we talk about IT project management profession as a whole. Now, despite all this interest in project management and despite all those increases in salaries and money that organizations spend on projects of all kinds, IT projects have a bad reputation because IT projects have had a terrible track record, as described in a very famous Chaos report. The title of this report is Chaos, and it was published in 1995 by a consulting company called Standish Group. Now, when they published this report, people were shocked because their research found that only 16%, 16.2% of IT projects in the United States were successful in meeting scope, time, or cost goals. Over 31% of IT projects were canceled before completion. So imagine that only 16%, which is roughly 1 in 6, are delivered within the agreed upon timeline, within the agreed upon budget, and also met the scope, meaning those projects actually delivered what they were supposed to deliver. Let's say some IT product, okay, and 1/3 were canceled before completion, right? Now, other studies, such as a study by PricewaterhouseCoopers, they found that overall half of all projects fail, and only 2.5 of corporations consistently meet their targets for scope, time, and cost goals for all types of projects. So the track record of IT projects was very bad, in 1990s. Why? I mean, one, I'll just give you like one reason. You see, like in 1990s, information technology field was still new, so many organizations were still learning a lot of things in relation to information technology, IT projects. So it's not surprising that the failure rate was so high. Now, with some of their follow-up studies, the Standish Group report showed that the success rate in IT projects has improved. For example, they said that the number of successful IT projects has more than doubled from 16% in 1994 to 35% in 2006. And the number of failed projects decreased from 31% in 1994 to 19% in 2006. And also the amount of money, I mean, because the overall success rate has improved over the decade. The amount of money wasted on failed IT projects also decreased. So it was down to 53 billion in 2006 compared to 140 billion in 1994. So the success rate of IT projects has improved. Why? Now, the reasons for the increase in successful projects vary. First, the average cost of a project has been more than cut in half. Technology, follows the so-called Moore's law, where the hardware costs and software costs have been falling, exponentially. Better tools have been created to monitor and control project management progress, and overall, better skilled project managers with better management processes are being used. In other words, overall, the field of IT project management has become more mature. People have learned a lot, they develop better tools, they gain experience, and now the success rate of IT projects is probably close or on par with those projects in other areas like construction. I mean, think about it, like, again, let's go back to this old statistics where 1/3 of projects get canceled. I mean, I don't think you see it in construction, like, they start raising a building and then out of the sudden they abandon it. Of course it happens, but not like 1/3, right? So I think nowadays the success and failure rates of IT project management is similar to that in other industries such as construction or education or something like that. Now, of course, and there is a big advantage in treating IT project management as a science, as a profession, where there is a set of tools and proven best practices and success factors. So overall, like over those years, people collectively have developed a set of formal tools and formal theories and concepts in the area of project management. And there's a lot of research out there that shows that using that formal approach helps you in a number of areas. For example, by using those formal tools that we cover in this course, you can exercise better financial, physical, and human resources controls. You can also improve customer relationships by delivering what exactly customers want, by including them, by including their opinions in the planning phase, and so forth. You can also achieve shorter development times. In other words, you can deliver IT project faster, you can lower costs, you can increase quality and reliability of the products that you're delivering, you can improve profit margins by spending less, you can save money, you can improve the profit. Because if you decrease your cost, your profit from the product that you produce as a result of your project increases. You improve productivity by making less mistakes. You achieve more with less resources, with less people, for example. Also, you achieve better internal coordination where people talk to each other, where they don't cannibalize each other's work. And also, you can achieve higher worker morale, because if there's one thing that reduces people's motivation and morale, it's failed projects. Because when a project fails, a number of things that happens. The project manager in charge of that project and the entire team, they take a damage to their reputation. I mean, they can be viewed as people who cannot deliver projects, who should be excluded from any further projects, or they can be simply fired. So all those things, they really decrease workers' morale. So it's very important to deliver successful projects, at least most of the time, so that you keep the spirits, the mood of the team up. So that's it. In this part, we just looked at some of the statistics in relation to IT project management failures and success rates. And I also tried to argue that formal approach to IT project management pays off because there are a number of benefits if you treat project management as a profession, as a science that has certain proven best practices, processes, and tools. So thank you for listening.